The most important part of your air conditioner's life is the day it's installed. If it's installed improperly, it won't work properly. I'm Bill with Aire Serv. I am the owner of Aire Serv of East Valley, and I'm here to show you what we do to install a new heating and cooling system in your home. Oh, and by the way, this is Mac. He's our mascot.
How you doing, Brian? Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Gabe. I'm with Aire Serv.
Nice to meet you.
This is Neil.
Hi. Morning, Neil.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Basically, we're here to install your new system
Sweet.
today.
I want to explain to you how we install your air handler or your gas furnace that's located up in your attic. Every unit has to be hung from the rafters with unistrut or metal strapping or all thread. It is set then on angle iron, and then we take it one step further. We put in the unistrut. This unistrut then is set between the two supporting members that are up in your attic. And the reason for this is we want to make sure that your system is perfectly leveled when it's set on here. And after periods of time, your unit will start bending inwards. This prevents that from happening. So we'll put the unistrut in, we'll properly hang your unit from the ceiling rafters, and then we make sure everything is properly level so the unit can drain properly. Now, as you see, we have put this air handler, and this is what's up in your attic, the air handler, onto the unistrut and is hanging between your support members. It also makes sure that your unit will not bow when we take off the door panels. So now your unit can be properly serviced in the future. As you can see, your blower compartment is here. That's your fan motor and the electrical. This way, your unit will drain properly. Your electrical won't get affected by any of that. And we can service this unit, pull that motor in and out if ever needed. Now our next step will be to install the plenums, which is your air distribution boxes. And we will show you what it takes to install those properly. Because every house is different. Every attic is different. So we don't know exactly what size we want until we get up there. And this way we can distribute the air properly to your house, so every part of your rooms, your house will be properly cooled and heated, okay? So he makes these, and then we attach these to your system and we seal them all up. Now Gabe has 15 years experience in our industry. He has worked in the commercial side of our industry and the residential. He's been what we call a fabricator for 5 years of that time. And with that experience, we can make sure that these units are installed properly. Now, he has cut this side to fit onto this piece of the plenum, and he'll repeat that process until a square box has been made. Once that square box is made, we then attach it to your air handler. Now, some companies might skip this process of putting in new plenums. And the reason for that, as you can see, it's labor intense and it costs more money. However, if you're removing an old system out of your house, that means that your plenums are old and they were made for the original equipment. Now that we're putting new equipment in, we need to make sure these are fabricated to your new equipment, and we know that the insulation is good, it isn't falling apart, and we know there won't be any air leakage. Now, to assure that this does not come apart, we put sheet metal screws in about every 6 or 7 inches. Now that we've assembled this plenum box, we need to make sure that it will not leak air. To assure us of that, we put on this special type of tape. It will absorb heat and cool, so it will expand and contract over a long period of time. Every seam gets sealed in this manner. Now that we've assembled our plenum box, now we have to cut the openings for your ductwork. And we do this by also installing what is called start collars. Now, some companies, again, try not to have to put new start collars on. We always put new start collars on because we want to assure ourselves, again, that we have the proper size and there will be no air leakage. Now, by code, this is perfectly fine. But if you can see that there is cracks here, what we call air leaks, well, that's not Aire Serv standards. Now, what we have to do is seal all the way around this start collar. Because again, we don't want attic air and attic dirt in your house, and we don't want your family breathing that. So now we will seal this to ensure that there won't be any duct leakage. Now that we've got our box together, we have our ductwork cut out for us. We have to attach it to our air handler. We have sealed this with the gummy tape. What Gabe is applying right now is what we call Glen coat. Now what we're going to do is put in your secondary drain pan. This ensures that if your primary drain line ever plugs up, this will help catch that extra water from the system. We've installed the secondary drain pan, but as you can see, it is sloped at an angle, so it will drain properly out of its drain. If it's not sloped properly, water will stay in there and rust out this pan, which we see quite a bit of because they're not improperly installed. Now, after we've installed your secondary drain pan, to give us even more peace of mind, we install what is called a condensate safety switch. This will turn your system off if your system's drain lines ever plug up. This unit can produce over 10 gallons of water a day during our monsoon seasons. So, when you're on vacation and your system is running and you come home because your drain line's plugged up, we want to assure that you're not coming home to a damaged house that can cost you thousands of dollars for repairs. This is another way of having peace of mind. This then goes to your primary drain line and gets attached to your primary drain line. This electrical cord, this 24-volt electrical cord, then runs across here and gets attached to the control board in your air handler. And when this float switch presses up, it turns off your outdoor system, which will ensure that no more water will condensate in your system, and it will save your ceiling, your roof line, anything that can get damaged from that water. Now the next process will be to reattach your refrigerant lines that go from this unit down to your condensing unit on the ground on the side of your house. For us to install these units, we have to cut these off, and then we flush your refrigerant lines because your old system had an old refrigerant in it called R22. That is not environmentally safe. And then we re-sweat it on or braze it on. And to ensure safety in your home, there's always a fire extinguisher, fire retardant cloth, and we cover this and we make sure when we braze that everything is free from happening. We run nitrogen through this system to ensure that it's going to be clean inside the pipe. This is called the refrigerant insulation, called insul tube or piping insulation. This pipe, during the hot parts of the year, will sweat and drip water. And we want to ensure that none of that sweating gets anywhere else. Plus, it also keeps the refrigerant at the proper temperature to properly cool your house. The lead installers and the installers have to do what we do, a quality checklist. It's a 19-point checklist that goes back over everything we have done. We test everything to make sure it's working properly. My installers have to go through this checklist, have to put their initials on it, so they're responsible for the quality and craftsmanship. This checklist then is put into your folder that we will keep at the office and then is put into the computer. It's a process, and there's a reason we do this, is because we want to make sure that you have a system that lasts for years and years and years without any issues and with peace of mind. And I just want to say thank you again for letting us show you what it takes to install the air handler in your attic. Have a great day.